Hi everyone, the economic chaos continues in Ireland, and the latest report was issued from the Central Statistics Office, which stated that tourism numbers coming into Ireland in February of this year in comparison to February of 2024 are down 30%. It's down to 304,000 people have come into Ireland in February of 2025. This is the sixth consecutive month there's been a massive drop off in people coming into Ireland for tourism. Now, we've seen the impacts of this on local economies, and also we see the issues arising because of the cost of living disaster. We also see the issues with higher energy costs. We also see the issues arising because of geopolitical crises and the impending tariffs coming up on Liberation Day, April the 2nd. But of course, we've seen the immigration fallout as well, with so many rooms being used for the lucrative international protection system. Not to mention the emergency accommodation system with the homeless crisis. Last night the homeless figures were released. Over 15,500 people are now deemed to be in homeless accommodation. That's 4,600 children. It's an absolute stain on Irish society. But there's a lot of elements profiting from this. Hotel groups are profiting. They're profiting from the immigration industry as well, while ordinary people are the ones that pick up the tab, and more money is being funneled upwards in society. Like the hotel in the distance just behind me, the Malvern Hotel, and part of the Delata Group that was founded in 2007 by Pat McCann. They listed on the stock market and are now the largest hotel group in Dublin, and they've benefited from a lot of state contracts, for instance, during the time of COVID with mandatory hotel quarantine, and not to mention now through a lot of international protection contracts as well. Now, currently they're on the market. They've looked to go on the market, would you believe? And the assets are estimated to be worth about 1.7, 1.8 billion euro. Massive amount of money. But of course, what's been happening in Irish society is that we see private equity companies coming in, hoovering up a lot of these hotel groups, making massive profits, and let no good crisis go to waste is always a mantra that they'll use that will profit the very rich at the expense of ordinary people. Now, this, as I said, this has huge implications for local towns, villages all around the country in terms of the knock-on money supply in those regions that knock on to add on to ancillary jobs and tourism all around Ireland as well. But of course, we've seen the immigration fallout and the lack of consultation, integration. Recently, we see a hotel down in the Gaeltacht, the only hotel in the Gaeltacht, in Carla, I think, that's actually, they're looking now to move that to international protection, more for the immigration industrial complex in Ireland and less for local people. But of course, listen, this is the way Ireland works, and what's going to happen over time is we see more mergers and acquisitions and more drive towards monopoly capital, where the private equity companies move in and hoover up all these hotel groups and make massive windfalls. And it really will become the preserve of only people with high incomes to go on any sort of break, in comparison to even a number of years ago, for instance, where people could travel around the country and get reasonable hotel breaks, and particularly since the time of the financial crash, if they wanted to go away for a couple of nights. But unfortunately, they're becoming few and far between over the past number of years because of the rampant profiteering and the big drive towards the private equity companies making money and looking at the bottom line. And that has dangerous implications with the drive towards globalisation in Irish society, because we see the drive towards more monopoly capital and the hoovering up of hotel groups by big private equity companies. Currently, there's a multi-billionaire in the Irish market, a guy called John Malone, who's involved in purchasing a number of hotels in Dublin and possibly could look at the Delata Group as a possible avenue to make massive profits too. And in the last year, there's over nearly €1 billion worth of hotel sales have been made. And hoovered up by who? Private equity companies. Starwood Capital, Blackstone, of course BlackRock are the back of these, State Street, Vanguard. And really it only becomes the preserve of the ultimately very wealthy in society, which are going to benefit from these policies, all facilitated by government policies who have driven the drive towards globalisation at the expense of ordinary people. So the fallout will continue, and maybe the political classes will sit up and respond, but it is highly highly unlikely, judging by the political establishment's response to date, pushing ahead with the same agenda, and that will suit them to push towards these monopoly capitalists as well. But of course, that'll have a widening implication on people in society, driving more inequality and hoovering more money up to the very top of society. So this is fundamentally what's happening in our society. And of course, rather than building a proper tourism industry that facilitates and makes places affordable, really sells our uniqueness, our culture, our heritage in each of our beautiful villages, towns, all around our country. It's all about the big profiteers coming in to price people out of the market, where it only becomes a preserve of people with high incomes to travel anywhere, and at the same time create the chaos and the fallout because of the immigration industrial complex. But all these issues will come home to roost in terms of what's happening in our society. But of course, it's just ludicrous, and this is all being facilitated by the Irish political establishment, who benefit the very, very wealthy all the time at our expense and work at the behest of their masters in Brussels. So thanks for the support of my videos, really appreciate them. Please press subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Please share my videos. I'm very appreciative of everybody that continues to share my videos far and wide. So from Dublin, thanks for all the support, and slán. Bye bye.